Hi folks. Well, it is Saturday 1:30 and I haven't got much done on my work. I'm trying to get started. I'm having my first coffee at home. I ended up going to that PD at the college, the TESOL WWWPD, and learning about CLB assessment in the classroom, Canadian Language Benchmarks assessment in the classroom. I'd never actually gone to a seminar specifically on the benchmarks, Canadian language benchmarks, so that was interesting. Well, it's not like I'm not familiar with it. We have the books, we have the all the tools that we use to use the CLB. So I'm very familiar with it. Learned it in school, all that stuff. But this was a person who, specifically addressed how to use it in the classroom, how not to be unfamiliar with it. I guess a lot of people are not that familiar with it. So it was something newer. And they were confused, perhaps, or not knowing how they should use it in the classroom, how they could use it every day. So that was good. Saw lots of people there from my class at school. I think there were 6 of us all together that were there, plus the same person that I met last year who went to my high school, Kathy. I forget her last name. Last year I figured it out. This year, and I didn't friend her on Facebook, so I'm not sure. But that's okay. So that was all right. Interesting. I always like seeing my friend Helen. My class was so nice. I really liked everybody in my class, so that was really nice too. Why do I do that? I'm going to develop permanent wrinkles there if you do that. It's beautiful outside, but very cold. It is gorgeous and sunny. However, the temperature is rather chilly. It is -7. Feels like -14, it says. So yes, it does feel like -14 because it's nippy when you walk around. I walked around without my gloves on at one point, and it was rather crisp. But the sunshine makes up for it. So I should have gone for the paper walking. But as usual, I feel I don't have the time to spare, so rather than, yes. And I'm not going to go visit my parents this weekend because, well, last weekend was my daughter's birthday party. So that was, half the day on Sunday used up or more with the birthday party. So now this weekend I went to the TESOL conference. That's another half day. So I need to get around to things. Because of all the not time having stuff that's going on, I did some photocopying at the college. And who should walk up by but my boss. And she goes, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm doing some photocopying." She said, "Are you doing photocopying for Link? You're not supposed to do photocopying for Link. Here, this is for the school." I'm like, oh no. Just because it has the same name doesn't mean that you can do the same. Of course, it makes sense, makes perfect sense. I should have known, but whatever. Stupid. I was just doing some stuff to get me ahead, to make up for this weekend that I'm missing and last weekend that I'm missing. Olympic stuff. I want the students to be familiar with all the countries involved in the Olympics. So that's gonna be kind of cool. A lot of us are focusing on the Olympics this coming up week to get them ready for the Olympics next week. We'll have to see how interested they are in this. I remember one of the students mentioning that her country was sending athletes to the Olympics, Afghanistan. And she was quite impressed by that. So Afghanistan is not very pro exposing your body when in athletic ways. So she thought that was quite progressive for Afghanistan to send athletes to the Olympics. Progressive. So yeah, I think she'll be watching. She'll be watching. She's a very interesting lady. Very gorgeous, striking, beautiful. And yeah. Very strong, very weak, in her kind of neat. You meet so many people. You meet so many interesting people. So that'll be cool. So the Leafs played last night, and the Leafs lost last night, right at the end. So it didn't help that they had the fantastic new player. No, didn't help. Well, they played fairly well, but then they fell apart at the end, just like they used to always do, like they've always done lately. So that wasn't good. And maybe if they had the new goalie in, that would have helped, but Gustafsson, well, I don't know. It's hard being a Leafs fan. It really is. Yeah. Leafs fan forever. How's that? I was supposed to be a Montreal fan forever. Canadien. What happened? What happened? As one of my students says, what happened? What happened? Yeah, suddenly I became a Leafs fan. Why? Because everyone around me is a Leafs fan. It's way too hard being a Montreal fan. Wouldn't get to see any games. How's that? Hey, I got to see a real live Leafs game in Maple Leaf Gardens. Raw. Before they stopped playing there. So I count myself lucky, and I am a Leafs fan. Die hard. Win or lose. Okay, what was I talking about? Yeah, the Tesla WWW conference. I don't think there's a WWW. I think it's just Tesla WW. Yeah. Some other people went to other workshops, and they were not so impressed. So I think I got a good workshop. I was lucky. One was canceled, and so they had to move to other workshops, and so they were not so happy. So I don't think that their feedback forms are going to be as good as mine was. Anyway, I better get to work. Procrastinate no more. See you folks. Have a good weekend.